Hello everyone, welcome back. This video is for grade 10, continuation of chapter 1, development of economics. I think here it is chapter 2, written chapter 2. Apology for this. The subtopic is public facility. So here, public facilities are the facilities public enjoys in general. That is, we were discussing about development. That is, we in the last videos we discussed about how the development is considered about an individual as well as for the country, and how it has been calculated through per capita income and through the average income. So this video is on the subtopic public facility. Basically, public facility means facilities enjoyed by the public in general, which is provided by government in a cheaper way and adequate or satisfactory facilities which has been provided by the government. So money in your pocket cannot buy all the goods and services that you may need to live well. So money won't buy us all the products. That is, normally we cannot buy pollution free environment, or we cannot ensure that you get unadulterated medicines, means fake medicines or medicines, false medicines. Sometimes medicines are prepared to cheat. The cheaters prepare medicine. Okay, so that sort of medicine is called unadulterated medicine. So you cannot get unadulterated medicine by just paying money. Okay, or you cannot protect yourself from infectious diseases unless the whole of your community takes preventive steps. We cannot get a pollution free environment, right? Only you cannot play a role to make the environment pollution free, except you others. If others are not adopting few policies to make the environment clean, it will not happen. It is not possible only by a single individual, right? So unless the whole of your community takes preventive steps, we cannot get pollution free environment, unadulterated medicines, protect yourself from infectious diseases, etc. Okay, so here for infectious diseases, I can say polio, which was very much in India, which was thought that it will never be eradicated. By the help of government and the people together, completely erased it out of India. Polio drops which were being given by the government, it is nothing but facility which was being given. It is one of the public facility. Okay, here another example is, it will be cheaper to have a security guard collectively in an apartment or locality. Okay, think there's an area wherein there is more robbery. So you cannot keep a security guard, appoint a security guard, recruit a security guard in front of your house, in each guards in front of each house. You cannot, you literally cannot appoint them, because it will be either costly, unaffordable for everyone, and it will be a madness, you can say. So once, if you appoint one guard for an area, it will be cheaper in the rate, affordable to everyone, and it will be facility which can be called as public facility. Got the point? So here, that is, it will be cheaper to have a security guard collectively in an apartment or locality rather than having security guard for each house. Kerala has low IMR, that is infant mortality rate, because it has adequate provisions of the basic health and education which is being provided by the government, which is public facility. Okay, so it has a low infant mortality rate. So again, to recall you all, what is infant mortality rate? When a baby dies within 1 year, that is infant mortality, and on that basis it is infant mortality rate is being calculated, how many babies die within a year. Then public distribution system, which is PDS, if functions well, then the health and status of such state is certainly likely to be better. This is public distribution system is nothing but the government facilitates with the ration which is being provided, the food grains which is being provided by this public distribution system. This is also been done by government and is called as public facility. So the life or the health status will be better if we adopt this public distribution system. Now, to see the development of a country, we take up the public facility also. We consider the public facility also, and along with that we consider body mass index. Okay, that is BMI, body mass index. Body mass index is used to find out whether a person is nourished, undernourished, or overnourished, that is overweight. Weight of a person is measured in kgs. Height is measured in meter. Height of a person is measured in meter. It will be calculated by dividing the weight by the square of the height. Okay, here this is a formula, dividing the weight by the square of the height. Okay, so if this calculated figure is less than 18.5, that person is undernourished. More than 25, he is overnourished. Between 18 and 25, he is nourished, which is normal. So this body mass index is an exception for this calculation. Which calculation? Growing children who are not evaluated on BMI. Growing children are not evaluated on BMI because their height, their weight varies every year. Got the point? So sometimes they be overweight, or sometimes they will be undernourished, sometimes they will be nourished. So we cannot evaluate growing children under body mass index. So now there's one more concept through which we can consider a country developed or underdeveloped, is Human Development Index Report, HRD. Income is an inadequate measure of the level of development. So income, along with income, we need other things to be calculated or considered. So income is an inadequate measure of level of development. If this is so, then health, education, standard of living are also some of the important factors. Along with income, what are the other factors? Health, education, standard of living. Therefore, UNDP, United Nations Development Program, it is a committee which published HRD. Okay, therefore, to consider this, UNDP published this Human Development Report. This report compares countries based on education level, health status, and per capita income. Under educational level, they see the literacy rate, the net attendance ratio. For this you can visit my last video wherein I have explained what are these. Then health status is considered IMR, infant mortality rate, and life expectancy. What is this life expectancy? Life expectancy denotes the average year of living of an individual. So that is, it is 60 years. In nowadays generation, people are living, average person is living up to 60 to 70 years. That is the average year of living. Then also per capita income, PCI. We can compare all these three. When we compare all these three, we get Human Development Index report, which is being published by UNDP. So this is again 1 mark question. Okay. So next will be sustainability of development. What is sustainability of development? We have studied this before in geography also. Here in economics, we can say that development must be in such a way that our resources should be sustained or conserved or saved for future generation. There are few limitations or challenges for the sustainable development. Development requires consumption of resource, which leads to depletion or reduction of resource. That is, if you want development, you need to consume resource, right? You cannot say, no, I have to save water for the future, so I will not use water. So you cannot say that. For development of a country or an individual, you need to consume resources. So when you consume resource, this leads to depletion or reduction of resource. Therefore, sustainable use of resource is required, which means we should have the ability to save or able to continue usage of resources without causing damage. Means we have to use the resource in such a way that it must not cause damage to the resource. Got the point? So it must not cause any damage to the resource, or it must not exhaust away. Okay. So that is the sustainability of development. One good example of development is groundwater in India. One of the good example for sustainability of development is groundwater in India. Groundwater is an example of renewable resource. So basically groundwater is renewed when there is rainfall. In rainy season it is automatically renewed. These resources are replenished or given back by nature, as in the case of crops and plants. Okay, we need not work on this renewability of groundwater. It is done by nature. But if these resources are overused, like groundwater, that is, overused means how? That is the speed we are pumping out water level of the groundwater resource, which is renewable resource, is depleting. Okay, the time consumed by the nature to renew the groundwater is less than the time taken to consume the water. We are speeding up in consuming the groundwater. Everywhere they are digging the wells, everywhere they are digging the bore wells using the machines. Early days, within few feet we would find water. Nowadays we are not finding. We have to dig it deep inside unless we find the water. Okay, so that is because the level of groundwater is decreasing. It's the same even in the case of crude oil, which is non-renewable resource. So even the groundwater which is renewable, we have to be careful while using it. Even in the case of crude oil which is non-renewable, once used, you cannot get back the crude oil. Okay, once groundwater is used, it will be renewed by rain. But once crude oil is used, once you put a petrol in your vehicle and move, you cannot get the same petrol back. Right? So it is non-renewable resource, and we should use them judiciously, properly, with proper care. Okay. So there's a statement in a textbook. We have not inherited the world from our forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children. This is a statement that you have to understand. Usual question arises on this. Explain this statement. This statement has to be understood properly, as it is an important statement emphasizing on sustainability of development. This explains the sustainability of development. This statement means that we have to save the resource for our future generation. Okay, because it is being borrowed by us from the future generation and not taken for granted as an inherited property from our forefathers. Got to know the statement? So it is not the inherited property which is been taken by our forefathers, but it is property which is been borrowed by us from our children, from the future generation. By this I end the topic. Hope so you all understood clearly. To understand this better, you have to see the last video, which is from the beginning of this chapter, development. It's an easy chapter. You can understand it well, and this you can use it as a notes or even question answers. So please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.